Hi, my name is John, and I'm a forensic scientist at the BCI lab. I work with firearms and Toolmarks. With firearms, we examine all types of guns. We examine fired cartridge cases and fired bullets like these and try to link them to a particular firearm. We do that by looking at the small markings that are left on bullets and cartridge cases under a microscope. We also examine tools that are used in crimes. That's what we're doing in Bob's case today. Remember, Bob's barn looked like it had been broken into. When agents were gathering some clues at Hwantu Bai's house, they noticed this crowbar in the back of his truck. So today what we're trying to figure out is whether this crowbar was used to make the mark found on the barn door. If you remember, the agents out in the field made a cast or an impression of that mark, and that's what this red thing is here. So the first thing that I would do is make an impression of the unique markings from this tool. And I do that using a material called lead. We use a lead sheet and make marks of those imperfections on the blade. So what I would do is drag the blade across the lead and it'll leave those marks. So then what we would do is make a cast using that same red material to see if we can get those marks that come up on that material, and then we can bring them over to the microscope. So I do that by spreading a little bit of this red material here and once we have some on there, we can spread it out and it'll harden, and we can then bring that cast over to the microscope. It takes about a minute to dry and then we're ready to go. So now we're at the microscope. The first thing we're going to do is take that cast that we made using the crowbar and peel it off and put it on the left side of the microscope. And once we do that, we're going to compare that to the cast that was made of the mark that was found on the barn door that was recovered by our agents in the field. That's going to go on the right side of the microscope. And what we're looking for is a series of lines, the marks that are made when that tool scrapes across the metal. And this instrument that we use is called a comparison microscope. And the way it works is you've got one set of eyepieces that we look through, and we can look at two different objects side by side at the same time. So let's take a look. And what I'm looking for is those lines on the left side of the microscope and the right side of the microscope to line up. And when they do, I can say that the two casts, the marks on those casts, were made by the same tool. And I can see that those marks all line up. So what that tells me is that the tool that we found in Hwantu Bai's truck made the marks that were found at the barn door.